Kashigi Yabushige is seemingly playing both sides in Shogun, but episode 4 has made it clear who is he truly loyal to. After helping Toranaga and his men flee Osaka, Yabushige is now welcoming them to Anjiro. The Lord of Izu was tasked with training his men with the help of John Blackthorne, Shogun's version of William Addams, who had access to tactics and weapons that the Japanese did not. However, what was supposed to be a period of training turned into the first chapter of a war at the end of Shogun episode 4. Samurai Nebara Josen and his men were sent by Ishido and the Council of Regent Lords to bring Yabushige back to Osaka, where he would respond to help Toranaga escape. Yabushige argued that he was working for Ishido this whole time, and even invited Josen to watch an exhibition of the cannon's firepower. The fact that Toranaga's son used the cannon to attack Josen makes things way more complicated for Yabushige, who might now have to pick a side and stick with it until the end of the war. Yabushige has been secretly working for Ishido in Shogun. As the Lord of Izu, Kashigi Yabushige should always be loyal to Yoshi Toranaga, who is the Lord of Kanto. While Yabushige has been helping Toranaga over the last couple of episodes, he has also been working for Ishido this whole time. Yabushige was offered Toranaga's place in the Council of Regents, which Ishido believes will soon be available once Toranaga is impeached and has to commit seppuku. Even though Yabushige wants Toranaga to believe he does not seek a seat in the council, the former has met with Ishido in secret on multiple occasions. One of these occasions was in Shogun episode 2, when John Blackthorne was about to be executed under the orders of the Christian lords. Whereas most of the Council of Regents would benefit from having the Anjin killed, Ishido believed it was valuable to keep Blackthorne alive ahead of the wars to come. Yabushige orchestrated so that Blackthorne would escape prison just before the execution, which confirmed that the Lord of Izu was indeed working with Ishido. In Shogun episode 4, Yabushige once again acknowledged that he was loyal to Ishido and not to Toranaga. Why Yabushige's loyalty to Toranaga is suspicious. Shogun's Lord Toranaga is not oblivious to Yabushige's strategy. The Lord of Kanto could tell that it was Yabushige who saved John Blackthorne from being executed, which would be good for Ishido. Toranaga has also openly talked to Yabushige about the offer made by Ishido, which the Lord of Izu swears he was not interested in. Toranaga knows that Yabushige is trying to play both sides, but still decides to keep him close, most likely due to the lack of options and allies. While Toranaga is growing stronger, he is also becoming more isolated. The only way for Toranaga to flee Osaka was with the help of Yabushige, who is now welcoming Toranaga's family and inner circle in his fief. That said, if Toranaga believes Yabushige will remain loyal to him whenever it is time to make a critical decision, Hiroyuki Sanada's character could be in for a surprise. Yabushige acts as if he is loyal to his lord, but is clearly bothered about how his men show support and respect to Toranaga upon their arrival on Anjiro. It is safe to say Yabushige wants that same power for him. How Nebara Josen's death complicates Yabushige's loyalty. Yabushige's tactic of playing both sides will no longer work now that Nebara Josen, who was in Anjiro on behalf of Ishido and the Council of Regents, was brutally killed by Toranaga's son. If Yabushige goes back to Osaka, he could be killed for letting Jozen and his samurai be slaughtered on Anjiro. Yabushige could even be perceived as guilty of what happened, considering that Jozen and the samurai were there to bring him back. On the other hand, if Yabushige remains on Anjiro working alongside Toranaga, he will be positioning himself as an enemy of Ishido and the council. The attack against the Council of Regents samurai was the worst possible thing that could happen to Yabushige, who will now be forced to make a decision regarding which side he will stand with. It was easy for Yabushige to trick the Shogun characters when things were relatively peaceful, but a war between Toranaga and the Regents is now inevitable after what Yoshi's son did. Ishido and the Regents will have more than enough leverage to wage war on Toranaga and all lords that support him following the attack against Josen. Yabushige will also have to deal with internal problems. His nephew, Omi, also has ambitions, which were only enhanced by the courtesan Kiku. She suggested that Omi would use the current situation as an opportunity, which is why he manipulated Toranaga's son into attacking. If Yabushige suffers the consequences of what happens in Anjiro, this would leave Omi in a good position, perhaps as the new Lord of Izu.